Hi, I'm Annie Owens, and welcome to My Dimensional Life. Today, I'd like to discuss about the fact of the correlation between alien abduction, alien encounters, and also the paranormal and what comes along with it. Um, I really was concerned about this or thought about this subject because of the fact there is a correlation between the two. There's not necessarily a correlation between paranormal activity and alien encounters, but there definitely is. If you've had alien encounters and it's like something that's an ongoing thing, you tend to deal more with the paranormal activities. But sometimes you have to be kind of already gifted with that paranormal activities with the alien encounter. So I don't know exactly how it actually comes together, but it definitely does. I'd like to share a story. Oh, but let's like and just subscribe so that I can continue making more videos about the stories of my life. Okay, if I was going to start on this, I guess we'd talk about the paranormal activities that I've already discussed that I've had when I was a little kid. But I also had ongoing UFO alien contacts, which I didn't fully understand. I would only get bits and pieces when I was a kid, except for the stories that I told you, then that was the full memories of it. And I told you about my son and how he had past lives, and it got me into learning about past life and past life regression and everything. As I started getting more involved in that, it seemed to open up something inside of me, and to where these gifts of being able to see spirits since I was younger, and only off and on throughout the early part of my married life, it just kind of opened it up. In one way or another, I was actually seeing spirits all the time, and when you're sitting there in the living room and you're seeing some spirit walk across in front of you, and you're just thinking to yourself, what the heck is going on with me? It got to where I would feel them bump my bed, and it just almost felt like I wasn't having any peace because there was so much going on during this time. you know um, Anyways, I ended up telling my husband about this because I was really kind of distraught because I was really tired and not getting a lot of sleep, and just these spirits all the time, all the time. And I knew how to kick them out, but the whole thing is when I go to remove something out of my house, I only want to remove the bad. I know that there's spirits around us all the time. It doesn't matter what we're doing, they're always going to be there. It's just that I was actually now seeing them, which before I wasn't really. I could feel them from time to time, or I see them from time to time, but now it just became like an all the time type thing. And so I told my husband about it, and he says, I have a friend that I went to high school with, and I think it would be good for you guys to meet up and connect, because I don't have any answers for you, and I think that she could probably really help you. And so he introduced me to his friend in high school named Chancey, and she had went to the Psychic Institute of Berkeley, because she was so gifted and talented when she was younger. And when we talked, we just kind of hit it off. There was like this instant connection there, almost like we had known each other for a very long time. She's very talented, she's very gifted, and she really helped me out a lot to be able to understand the spirit world of what exactly was happening and how to deal with it, you kind of have to shield yourself off to actually stop a lot of this stuff. Seeing spirits, you shield it off. You can actually protect your house. We kind of went through a lot of different ways to be able to take care of that, so that I didn't have the spirits bumping my bed, And I will, even now, if I see spirits around and I don't feel they're bad, but I don't want to be messed with in the middle of the night, I will literally say, hey, if you're here, I don't care. Don't bump my bed. Don't lay on my bed. Do not mess with me while I'm sleeping. I will literally lay down the law of what needs to be done, and they will they will do that. If they don't, I will cast them out. Good, bad, doesn't matter. You're breaking my rules that I set forward in the middle of the night. And so Chancey really helped me out a lot with this. But over time, as we got to know each other, and we went through a lot of stories of ghosts and the things that she's able to do, and then we got into the subject of aliens, and we're talking about that. And I had remembered already bits and pieces, told her stories of when I was younger. I had an experience with a friend doing a QHHT session, quantum hypnosis healing techniques session, and they don't tell you where to go. They kind of let your higher self decide what you need to see, what you need to know. And I got to experience one of my first alien abductions. And I was 6 years old. I went through a full on panic attack. The girl that was doing that didn't recognize that I was having a panic attack, because that's not something you generally want to allow your client to feel as a panic attack. That way you kind of can remove them from that and just allow them to see it. But she didn't recognize I was having a panic attack. I was just really scared. And at 6 years old, I was literally taken. And it was interesting because it was the same lady that I had dealt with when I was 12 years old. Yeah, that was at 6 years old. But when you're under, you can actually ask questions. So that was really neat, because we're under it wasn't me asking the questions, it was the one that was doing the QHHT. And as she's asking all these questions, it's almost like there is no such thing as time, and you're literally connecting with the alien being that's doing that at the time. So she would ask me a question like, what are they doing? The answer of that was they were checking on me. They were checking my growth, making sure that I'm growing properly. They at one point they put me into this chamber, and I remember the sound. It was like whoom, 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 whoom. It kind of reminded me of, I had an MRI for my neck years ago, and you hear that sound as they're doing it. You know, it's a pretty loud sound. And the question was, what were they doing when they put you into this chamber? And the answer was that they were putting genetic DNA markers in my system, that at certain times the DNA would start awakening up, so that I can become more of what I need to be here. I have no idea. That's just what they were telling me. But it was that same tall, white, pearlescent white female that I had talked to you about before. She was the one that was there. She was the one doing it. And at 6 years old, I was crying. I didn't want to come back. And I told her, I said, please, please, please let me stay here with you. And she says, well, why would you want to stay here? And at 6 years old, I said, because they lie here and they're not nice to each other. That was my answer. But she told me I still had to come back, that it was something I had to do, even though I would have rather stayed with her, because I didn't like the mixture in this world of so many people just outright lying about stuff. That still gets to me. I can't handle being around liars. If you're going to lie to me, just might as well not even be around me, you know. But I was explaining to her about this, and being abducted since I was younger, and how it's been an ongoing thing. And I had been dealing with, off and on, two different types of tall grays. One of the grays is got higher cheekbones, bigger eyes, but kind of reminds me, I guess, kind of Asian in influence. I don't know. And the way he looks, that's what the impression was to me. The other one had the same facial features, except it was very, very wrinkly face. And you would think by looking at it, it was a mean type of being, because it's so wrinkly. But I was telling her that I was learning about the way that they think differently than we do. They don't have the same range of emotions that we do. You have some that are more compassionate. You have some that are just more scientific. They're just totally different. And so we went through a long range of conversations over the years about this stuff. But as soon as I really got into the alien part of the speaking with her, I think it kind of, maybe in my my thought process of what was happening, I thought it was maybe blowing her away, because it wasn't something that she had really even put too much thought to. At the time they weren't talking about aliens like they are now. And soon afterwards, she had her first alien experience. She'll have to tell you more about it, but it was my understanding that basically she had one show up and tell her that they need to listen to me because I'm telling the truth. And since then, she's had her own little contacts with them herself, with the aliens, which is a really neat thing. And since that happened, other people that I've been blessed to be around a lot of gifted people. And when I get around them, and that are gifted in the fact of, with the paranormal and the psychics, and when I start getting around them, it seems to pull that alien influence also to them. So she's not the only one that this has happened to. And I've had people go, hey, just rub my shoulder or something, and maybe I can have alien contact. And it has nothing to do with me personally through all this. with the alien contact. But what I was trying to bring forward is that it seems to me the ones that I talk to that have these alien experiences on a continuous basis, they tend to be able to have psychic abilities. And I'm not sure if that has to do with maybe the telepathic side of it all, because whenever I'm with them, I'm not talking with my mouth. You know what I mean? It's brain to brain. You're literally talking back and forth with each other. And so I believe that maybe you have to be built a little bit differently to begin with. But I do know that the situation with spirits and seeing spirits, it has ramped up. And everybody that I've been talking to, let's say it's August 21st right now, 2025. And I have so many friends I've been talking to, and they're talking about seeing spirits. And anybody who's out there and listening to this, you know, you'll see it through that peripheral vision. And the reason you see it in that peripheral vision is because as a child, you're taught to focus. You're focusing right ahead. Peripheral vision, you can't focus. And because you can't focus, that's what's allowing you to see it. As time goes on and you get used to seeing it and you feel a little bit more comfortable, it's almost like your eyes adjust. I've actually seen spirits as clear as day in front of me, and it's really freaked me out because it was my father-in-law that passed away, and I was literally walking out of my kitchen and I saw him sitting on a couch, and your brain goes crazy. It's like, how are you seeing this? Wait a minute, isn't he dead? It's almost like you're almost trying to figure out what reality is because he's right there in front of you sitting down. And when I saw that, it freaked me out so bad I literally jumped sideways and I bounced into the front door because I wasn't expecting him to be there. And I'm gonna let you know, when you do see spirits, if you can keep that same frequency you have thought that you were at when you see him, you're going to be able to see him more. When I got frightened because I saw him so clearly, literally just like seeing anybody else in front of me, and the frequency changed inside my body. And as soon as the frequency changes, then all of a sudden it's like, boom, they're gone, because your frequency changes. So if you can start seeing them and not be afraid, because when you're afraid, that brings down your frequency. And when it brings down your frequency is when they're going to be gone. I believe like haunted houses, how they get scared, and then you're seeing like ghosts, and you have that fear. That fear is a very low frequency. So generally what you're seeing is not a high frequency spirit. It's a very low frequency. I've been to places now that I will walk and I will literally shield myself up, but as soon as they see me, because I keep my frequency, to keep my frequency higher, they will literally take off and they will leave. They're afraid of me. So with the light, if they don't want to be in the light or with the light, they will literally leave it. So what I would say to all of you out there that are starting to experience the ability to see spirits, maybe you're seeing it in the corner of your eyes, maybe you're getting a glimpse of it, you need to learn to feel it in your gut to know whether this is something that needs to be there or doesn't need to be there, because I believe it's going to start happening more and more, because as the energies are changing here, it's making it to where your abilities that have been basically quelched down low to where you won't be able to use them, they're starting to rise back up. So as they're rising back up, don't be afraid, learn to feel it. And if it's to the point where you don't want them there, you can make them leave. What I always tell, and I've worked with little kids that have had the gift and abilities to see spirits, is I just tell them they need to use their belief. So if you believe in Christ, you believe in Buddha, it doesn't really matter. It has to be something of light, obviously. And you command them. With me, I just use Jesus Christ because I believe in Jesus Christ. And I will say, in the name of Jesus Christ, you're not allowed to be here. Leave my house and property now. But you have to, when you say it, you really have to believe it to make them leave. If it's something bad, something good, it's kind of up to you what you want to do, if you still want to make them leave or whatever. But sometimes we do a lot of stuff out of fear. And so that's why I'm trying to teach you not to have fear, because things are going to be changing. You're going to be seeing a lot more. Others are going to be seeing a lot more. Maybe even your children, maybe even born with this and having the experiences of extrasensory abilities, being able to feel things that maybe you as a child never did. These children are coming in, they're amped up on energy is the only way I can explain it, and the fact that they have a lot more abilities. And I've been seeing it. I work with kids. I see their abilities. And the fact that I can get around a kid that's having a hard day and just in my thoughts alone and calm myself, they can feel that energy and they can calm also. So let's go ahead and work on that. But I hope you understand a little bit about the correlation of if you see spirits and then you have the alien connection, there's a connection there, but not all the time when you see spirits is there going to be that alien connection. But if you have that alien connection, you generally have the spirit connection also. So I wanted to share that with you, and next time we'll get into more fun and exciting stuff of my life. All right, until then, we'll see you.